So, hi everyone, welcome to the first in the series of what's going to be me sitting down with clients of the digital gene. Today I'm joined with the first, I don't want to call you a guinea pig, but I suppose you are a guinea pig, Sarah Heron from True Colours with Sarah Heron. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm more than happy to be a guinea pig, Declan. I've been called worse in my time.
And I'm liking both of our setups. I feel like I'm on Real Housewives and I'm doing like a confessional to the camera, and obviously you're very branded with your fabulous branding behind you as well. I'm liking what it looks like. So as a starting question, do you want to tell, obviously I know all about your business, but do you want to tell everybody else what it is and what you do?
Okay, thank you. Yes, True Colours with Sarah Heron is a colour and style consultancy business. It was formed on the 1st of March this year by myself, and came out of really me having got to midlife empty nest stage and wanting to launch a new business. I've always struggled with my confidence. I had my own colours done last October and was absolutely blown away by the process, and thought I want to share this feeling with other people. And so I trained, spent quite a number of months training, and then got myself set up to offer online colour and style analysis, which has worked wonderfully well in lockdown, so I feel very grateful for that. And then obviously as lockdown is eased, then we'll go into in-person consultations. But it's been fair to say that because it's been online, it saves clients time and money, and I've been able to operate that worldwide, which has been wonderful.
And do you, as you've said there, that you will do it in person, but do you think that kind of starting your business in lockdown and doing it all solely online, has that shown how your business can grow quicker because you can do more, or is it nice? Do you think it'll be nice to have a mix of both different types of consultations moving forward?
I think there's still a little bit of skepticism about online. So I think the traditionalists will prefer to do the in-person consultations. And I meet a lot of women who said, oh, I had my colours done years ago, it's something I need to revisit, can I come and see you? And I think those people that have been used to being draped with various colours side by side with somebody else in person will probably revert back to that. Whereas some of the younger clients, dare I say, have thought, no, well, if I can do it digitally, I'll do it digitally. And I have to say that for me, there is absolutely no difference in the results, and the results and the testimonials that I've had have been tremendous. So I feel absolutely 100% on board with the online. And as I say, it makes it a very portable business. It's easy then to grow. And yeah, it does save clients time and money because it's a little bit cheaper than being in person. And it can be done over an hour's Zoom. I do all the background work, having received photographs and a completed questionnaire for my clients. And then I do all the background work, working from home. We have a Zoom presentation where I present the client's diagnosed colour palette to them. So that can happen within an hour, whereas an in-person consultation is about 2 hours generally.
And it also, I guess, it's the same with our business. As we've gone through this lockdown, we've started, obviously I'm in Leeds and then the other two directors are in the Northeast, and we're not really saying locations anymore either, because there's absolutely no reason why business can't be done all over.
Absolutely. Well, I was thrilled to get my first international client because it made me very important, I have to say. It was something that's been on my long-term plan for some time. So I suppose lockdown in a sense precipitated that, and yeah, she contacted me having seen me on Facebook, and we connected, and it was only halfway through the sort of onboarding process that I recognized that she was in Florida. So yeah, she was thrilled to bits and has since spoken to other people about my services, and so it's worked for her, and she's come back to me for some additional services as well. So it's nice to feel that, you know, as I'm approaching a certain age and sort of pre-retirement and all that sort of things, that I can make the business portable. So I can go and spend 6 months in the south of France or on a beach in Barbados, and take the business with me.
it is funny you say that, because I was making somebody laugh the other day on Zoom. I said, working in digital is quite remote anyway, but I've been like, if we can travel next year, I might just go for about 6 weeks somewhere in the Mediterranean. I'll just sit at an internet cafe and I can just run my business from there. I just think,
Absolutely.
like, I'm really missing the opportunity to go away as well. And I feel like by the time next year comes around, we'll all be really chomping at the bit for a bit of wanderlust, won't we? So
absolutely.
Oh yeah. So do you want to explain who's your ideal client? Who's your target market?
Well, essentially, I started out with a very clear vision of who my ICA was, and that was women such as myself, who are midlife, who are, as I say, perhaps at empty nesting stage. They've spent years putting the needs of their family and other people first. They perhaps got into a style rut, and they're now at the point of thinking, right, now it's time for me and my adventures and rediscovering myself and reinventing myself. And I do still have that as one of my target audiences, for lots of reasons. But in actual fact, the people that have come to me proactively have been much younger than that.
All right. Okay.
So a younger profile of relatively new mums who have perhaps, again, lost their own sense of self and sense of identity since becoming a mum. They've perhaps, dare I say it, put weight on, and they're just struggling with their own sort of self-image a little bit. Mm-hmm. That seems to be a recurrent theme. I've also attracted a number of clients from the sort of well-being sector, which has come to me as a surprise, but in actual fact, I network with quite a number of those sorts of people. And I suppose people have got to know me through networking. I've heard me being so impassioned about my business that perhaps that's why they've hooked on. Yeah. So I think during lockdown as well, it wasn't so much about identifying an ideal client. I think it was more about finding a solution to a problem. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people had the same problem, but they were from very different demographics, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I was reaching out to people, or people were reaching out to me as well, who, you know, had lost their mojo, who were fed up being stuck indoors. They were looking at their wardrobe, they were decluttering the wardrobe, they were looking at their own self-image, they were perhaps anxious about going back to work, and that cut right across all sectors. So it wasn't about particularly targeting a sector, it was about offering a solution to a problem. Yeah.
Well, you just saying that there, that exactly rings true. It's anybody. So say, if you say somebody who's lost their mojo, that could be anybody, couldn't it?
Absolutely.
Could it be anybody could want that little bit of a confidence boost from engaging with your services, no matter what's got them to that point in their life. I suppose that could be, say, a target market, just anybody who's feeling a little bit lost, or
Well, I always say, and part of my strapline that came from my branding was confidence through colour. Mm-hmm. Well, again, confidence crosses all genders, it crosses all ages, it crosses all demographics, and I think that's ultimately the hook. I think it's people who have lost their confidence for whatever reason, and as you say, for whatever the journey is to have got them to this point, and that's what I like to be able to offer. So I identified before I started the business, when I was sort of evaluating where I was going to go with the new business, that I'm a natural empath, I'm a nurturer, and I wanted to give. And if I could give my services to anybody and everybody that I know free of charge, I would, because I'm so committed to the transition and the transformation that it can offer people. Yeah. Wearing the right colours is absolutely life-changing. It really is, and it's such a simple process, and it's a small investment with lifetime benefits. Yeah. So for me, it's about offering that confidence in a bottle, if you like.
Yeah, I tried to think, it's like, you know, I'm thinking there, like, me as I become a figurehead for our business growing forward. Mm-hmm. It is nice to, you know, you can imagine if you get asked to speak places and you think, right, well, I want to wear what I know what works for me and what I look good in and what I'm confident in as well. So I can definitely see how anybody can benefit from the service that you provide, definitely.
Very much so. And during lockdown as well, a lot of people were struggling with online networking or online communication. It's the first time they'd done a lot of Zoom calls or conference calls. And so people were suddenly very aware of their visual appearance, perhaps for the first time, some of them. And they were like, what do I wear? So I spent quite a lot of time working with people and offering free advice, really, top tips for being on Zoom. Doesn't matter if you've got your shorts on underneath the table and your slippers, as long as head to shoulders you're looking good and you're wearing the right colours close to your face. So there was a little bit of that going on as well. So
a couple of people that don't turn the cameras on Zoom. You'll be on like a big call and there'll be like a couple waiting and just see their photo or their business logo, and I'm like, come on, let's try. But we're all in this together. We're all doing it. So let's just, doesn't matter what we look. I know sometimes people's backgrounds might not be ideal, but you just have to, we're all in this together. I think I've seen so many, it feels so personal to see inside of everybody's houses all the time.
It does.
In the last few months, I've seen kitchens, bedrooms, offices. It's mad. So speaking of networking, I've actually forgotten this, but how did we meet?
You and I first met at a networking event for influencers. Mm-hmm. And it was held in Newcastle at YOLO. Yeah,
YOLO Townhouse, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's right. And I was very new to business. I wasn't doing the business I'm doing now, but I was very new to business. And I turned up for this event, and I felt like the granny of the of the whole audience that were there. There were very slim, very glamorous ladies walking in, and equally, suave guys like yourself. And I thought, oh, let the ground just swallow me up. Anyway, a very nice couple that were there sort of stood next to me at the bar as I was getting a drink and said, they introduced themselves and who was I with, and I said, oh, I'd come on my own. So they said, oh, come and sit with us. So we had a nut, and that broke the ice, which was fab. Mm-hmm. And then I think you came quite a bit later, but you must have known the couple I was with. And you sat next to me, and you, again, what do you do when all the rest of it, and we talked, and you said, you must meet my mum, you'll love my mum, you'll get on really well with my mum. And the rest, as I say, is history. And I did, and we do.
How long ago? I'm guessing at least 2 years.
Yeah. I think it was about 2.5 years ago, because I just started my previous business. Mm-hmm. In fact, I hadn't even started it, so it must be 3. It must be 3 years ago. I was waiting to launch.
Because I think, and then we've stayed in touch, haven't we? We've always been out a couple of times, and we've been out and about. And then as I knew you and Mum would get along, and you have done. So it's weird, isn't it, how you can meet people years ago and then you just keep on this relationship going, and then obviously we've ended up doing some work for you. So obviously coming on to that, why did you engage us at the Digital Gene, and what problem did you have at the time that you needed solving?
Well, my previous business was a franchise business, and so not all of the branding, but a lot of the corporate branding was already done for us. Mm-hmm. What was also provided was a website, and I'm sadly of that generation that didn't grow up with websites. I remember when the internet was first launched, and it seemed like this, revolutionary thing, which of course it has been, but very new to my generation. Mm-hmm. So whilst I've self-taught myself quite a lot of tech, I don't profess it to be tech savvy. And I knew I wanted to be with this business because I'd broken out of the franchise. I was going so totally alone. So I knew I wanted a website, and I didn't just want something that was just functional. I wanted something that reflected me, reflected my personality, reflected the why, reflected the person behind the brand. And so I approached Sharon for a coffee, and we had a chat, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying that we're similar age and, had at similar stages in our lives, but still, working women, business women. And we connected, and she said, oh my God, Sarah, I just love it. I love what you're doing. And she was so impassioned about it and came up with all sorts of amazing ideas for me. And I thought, Sharon gets this. Mm-hmm. Sharon gets me, she gets my business. And that for me was really important. Yeah. So I did look at other website developers, website designers, that's no secret. But every time I knew in my heart of heart, my intuition said, it's got to be the social gene as it was then, the digital gene as it is now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah.
And it's fair to say as well that I could have gone for less expensive options, but I wanted all singing and all dancing, and that's what I've got. And with you guys, nothing's ever been too much of a problem. And I was very upfront right from the start and said, you're going to have to hold my hand through this process, because I really don't understand the background stuff. I don't understand the behind the scenes tech. So if you're prepared to handhold me, I would love to be a client. And so that's, I think, one of the reasons why I bought into that.
I think that's where, especially mums, right? Like, mum doesn't mind the hand holding. Like, we've had clients say to us, we'll send them what, not necessarily yourself, but other people will send them what we deem, because we're in it all day, every day, is quite a simple document. So say something like the website discovery. And I think some people do sometimes struggle, but we're like, no, just come back to us. And even if you need us to hold your hand at any point through it, because as we say, and as you've said, we're not the cheapest. Our websites are bespoke, but that's a good thing. We can create anything you want. And I think the design of yours has shown how different we can be, and it can really reflect what you want, your business wants to be online. And I just think we're not the cheapest, but we've just got all that extra help there. And I don't think anything is too, nothing's too
much trouble.
Yeah,
ever.
Not at all, really. So,
and I think in the early days as well, you challenged me, which I needed, because I was full of all of these ideas and considered myself to be relatively creative. But the whole process wasn't just taking what I thought I wanted, because you don't know what you don't know. So there was a lot of challenging me about my core values, about the brand values. You guys did all my branding for me first and foremost. So again, there was a good understanding about the business. And that for me was really important, because it felt like you were my marketing team. We were working together as a team.
It is ideal, like when we have clients like yourselves that have sometimes a complete blank canvas branding wise, because when we design a branding for you as well, we're also thinking about what that's going to look like online. Sometimes clients can come to us and say, all we've got is that, and we're like, how the hell are we meant to
work with that
look like a website? So I think it was good, because we're still fairly young in business, and when we onboarded you, I don't think we'd done that many websites at that point, and it's good to see you as an example of doing branding and then taking that to web build stage, really.
I mean, the two are just completely integral, and the website is just amazing. I love it. I loved it from the minute I saw it. I ummed and ahed about my business name, and the branding took a little bit longer, but once we'd agreed that and got that in place, and that was down to me and my nervousness, because it was such a big thing to decide on a name and colours and what have you.
Of course,
But having got that in place, the website just rolled, and I just love it. It's so vibrant and upbeat, and the branding's just reflected right the way through. It's just an integral part of it. So
I often say now, I mean, our portfolio isn't too big, and we've got quite a few websites that are still in the build stage, which obviously haven't been seen by people yet. But out of everything that we've got, I would say that yours is definitely up there with one of our favourites, because we had obviously the control of doing the branding, as I've said, but it just looks so fun and engaging and creative. I think so many websites these days can look so similar. Because Google's wanted every website to look a certain way, whereas we've got the look, but also it's powerful in the sense that it's there to generate leads. As soon as you log on, if somebody wants to be in touch straight away, they can book straight away. The messages are there, but so is the clear, fabulous branding as well. So yeah, no, it's been a good journey to watch. As I said, my role in the business is more marketing and business development. So once I've got people in, or the initial chatting, I'm not that hands-on with it, but it's really interesting to watch it. So obviously, speaking about our websites as well, we don't do WordPress or Wix or any kind of these other CMSs, but because we've got our own, I know it's only been not too much of a long time since your training, and still probably getting to grips with what the back-end CMS looks like, but from initial thoughts, how do you find it? Do you think it's user-friendly, or?
I do, and that's from a technophobe such as myself. So I've been trying to upload some blogs, and you know, the instructions are there, and it's just my confidence that said, Sharon, will you just check this before it goes out? But having, you know, had that reassurance once, then I'll be away with it. You know, I think the online training was fantastic. I've got the user guide to refer back to. I made copious notes during the training. So yeah, I feel fairly confident to be able to move forward with that without a problem. And that again for me was a big thing. That again was part of what I bought into, that you weren't just going to create me this website and then disappear, never to be seen again. As I say, I made it very clear that I needed that hand holding throughout the whole design and implementation process. But subsequently I need to manage it, because it's no point just having the wallpaper up if you don't change it every now and again, because it does become wallpaper.
Yeah, I do like that. We always say there's no point, you know, especially our sites, they are an investment, and I hate, you know, it is just to stand still and just be static. It wants to be, we always describe it, it should be kind of like a team member for you, like going out, and it can get business for you while you're asleep or while you're having time. So no, that's good to hear. And I think with as our business progresses, I think we will get better, and it's good to hear. Not that there's always room for improvement, and I think because our CMS is unique, and a lot of people, it's good to get feedback. And but yeah, and obviously you always know that we're not far if you ever do need any help with it. And there's no, you can't break it, because the websites, I don't know if you know this, they're actually backed up every 24 hours anyway. So
yes, yeah, I was told that in the training, which was reassuring in itself.
If something did happen, we could just reverse it back to 24 hours. So there's no problem at all with that. So now you've got your new website, and not just your website, as your business is growing, and you said you've had good feedback and you're getting clients and an international client, which is great. What's your future goals? Where, you know, you can say how digital what goals it is involved with needing digital marketing, but also what else? What other goals have you got? Where do you want to see your business in 1 year, 2 years, 5 years?
Oh, that's a big question, isn't it? With such a fledgling business. I mean, yes, I've got visions for it. I'd like to be able to offer a whole gamut of services, and I have got quite a number of services that I offer right now, but I'd like to look towards a subscription box. That's an immediate sort of 6 to 12 month goal for me. And again, something that I talked to your mum about in the early days. So when clients have been to see me and had a colour analysis done, so, you know, you've come to see me and I've diagnosed you as having a winter palette, for instance, then there would be a subscription box option that you could buy into on a monthly basis. And in that subscription box, there would then be accessories that were all akin to your diagnosed palette. So there might be sunglasses, there might be scarves, there might be jewellery, there might be makeup products, whatever it may be, within that subscription box, but all targeted to you. So people can buy that for you as a gift. It can be a one-off, or you can treat yourself every month. That's something that I would really like to get into doing. I think that's the way forward. I really want to sharpen up the customer journey. So I do want to get very much more digital with my sort of sales pipeline and really automate that. I've got 2 businesses that I work with now. One is a jewellery business and one is a skincare and makeup brand, both of which I have a shop facility within my website for. And it may be that I add other things to that mix, other type of accessories maybe, so that clients have got a one-stop shop for improving their personal confidence through what I'm doing. The blogs, I'd like to look at having lots of guest bloggers on board, and I've started that process already. so that again it's a one-stop shop, so people can pick up an online magazine that talks to them about travel, health, all of the issues that my clients are going to have. I'd like to collaborate with a confidence coach, so that again it's that one-stop shop kind of idea, because I think people are buying into me. That's certainly the feedback that I'm getting. I'm told I'm giving them good value, so now I need to kind of package that. So as you say, so I'm making money when I sleep, basically. So it's about collaboration, it's about getting very digital, very savvy, very slick, and yeah, worldwide would be perfect. Long term, who knows, I might look to franchise, I might look to offer coaching to different groups of people who perhaps want to follow a similar path. So yeah, there's a lot to think about. I
think my ears pricked up straight away at subscription boxes, because they're just are so big. You can get, I think there will probably be amazing statistic about how many households have got at least one subscription box these days. I've personally got two myself. Right. So I get a t-shirt. There's a business called Monthly Tea Club where you pick a cool print and I get it every month. And then also, which I don't mind sharing, another one is I was concerned about male hair loss. So it's a subscription box where you get it's bespoke to you, and you get some like a shampoo, a spray to put on. But honestly, I just think the possibilities for subscription boxes, I've seen so many examples. Bougie candles. There's like FabFitFun, which is more of a lifestyle one, which is like there's all sorts. Do you subscribe to any at the minute at all?
You know what, I don't, but it's interesting that you should say that, because one of my greatest advocates in this concept is my son, who's approximately the same age to you, and I think you guys have again grown up with that as an option. For my generation, the only thing you ever subscribed to was a monthly magazine if you were lucky, Good Housekeeping, woohoo. But now you can get a subscription box for anything.
I know.
And people are lazy, and as the demise, sadly, and I do mean this quite genuinely, as the high street starts to deteriorate, people are wanting to shop online, but they want to shop with trusted brands. Again, something else that I've thought about in terms of my long-term vision would be to look at bespoke clothing. So a lady might come to me and I might diagnose her as having a summer palette, but she's a difficult size, or in terms of finding clothing in that color palette, or she might be a lady that has special needs in some way, physically or whatever. So to be able to say to her, right, you know, the best colors for you are summer colors, and here's a designer, or here's a couturier or a dressmaker that I can refer you to. Here's a capsule wardrobe in those colors. She can create to your size, shape, budget. Again, that would be all about bespoke, because it's all based on trusting me at the forefront of the business.
Yeah. No, and I always think, just because people, I mean, I shop online, obviously, like way much more than I very rarely venture into Leeds to actually have through the shops, but just because I'm shopping online doesn't mean I let go of wanting a personal experience. It doesn't mean I let go of any ethics. You know, the brands that I support on the high street are probably the same. Like, I'm looking for the same things online as well. Try not to go with this fast fashion kind of movement, which is everything dead quick and it doesn't last very long. And no, I'm always sometimes a critic of when there's always bad news about the high street's decline. I'm always a bit like, well, did it adapt? Do you know what I mean? Like, I know they are up against it, and I'm not trying to devalue how hard it has been for them as the world has become more digital. But did they, you know, I'm only going to leave to go to a shop if it's an experience now, and a lot of them have not done that. But, you know, I think it swings different ways, doesn't it? But that kind of, what you're kind of saying, what you would like to offer in the future, that bespoke personal experience, I don't think, no matter how the world looks, will ever go away.
No, I think that's very true. And I think those companies that have adapted to that personal experience, which is why I say sort of, I want to really embellish my customer journey as part of that. Giving them a really positive experience is what's going to make them come back to me time and time again for different services and recommend me to other people. Well, there's the best marketing in the world.
Oh, exactly. It's just like one example there, like Top Man, in some of their flagship stores now, they offer a personal shopper. So you book an hour. I think you book an hour with them. You go in and they chat to you. They get your style needs, and then they help you then pick out outfits for yourself, try things on, and it's just, you just have to adapt. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think COVID is going to potentially, I think the decline of the high street that was already happening, I think that's about to go from 0 to 100. I think we're in completely different times now. I think it's accelerated everything that was coming before is now a lot faster. So yeah, but as you say, you sound like your business model is adaptable, and you know, as you say, you've done more online than in person because you've had to, and there'll be that mix moving forward. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. So the last question before the quick fire round that I'm going to finish with is, so I quite like this question because it leaves it completely open, because I think that the answer, everybody answers in a completely different way, but what does success mean to you?
Oh, goodness me, that's a really good question. Success for me is about feeling proud to be the person that I am, because I fought to become that person for such a long time. And allied to that is my why is I want my sons to be proud of me. I've been a single mum for a number of years, and it's been blooming tough.
Yeah.
And I'd like them actually to be able to say, do you know what, I'm really proud of you, Mum. You know, you came out of toxic situations, both professionally and personally. You've reinvented yourself. You've given us everything that we've needed. We're now independent. It's lovely to see you embracing life, taking on new adventures, taking on a new business. So for me, my success comes from my boys.
Yeah.
I always consider them to be my best achievement ever. And so it would be nice for them then to roll into seeing me as their best achievement and making them feel super proud of what I've done and what I've created. Business success can mean lots of money in the bank, but it's not about that for me. I've never been driven by money. I suppose I've been driven by, if I say recognition, that sounds like I'm very status oriented, and I'm not. But it's more about family first for me. It always has been, always will be. I've compromised my own needs for such a long time. And now that my boys are happy and set for life, now it's about me, and it's about me achieving things. And I'd always wanted to be self-employed, and as a single mum could never make that happen because it was too much of a risk and too much of a gamble. So I stayed in a career that wasn't fulfilling me. So for me now to feel, you know what, I'm actually quite proud of myself and what I've done and how far I've come, and I do see myself as a success. And so that's what success looks like for me, is other people that are close to me and whose opinions I value see me as a success. And somebody said to me recently, just came totally out of the blue, was that I was an inspirational businesswoman. Well, I just wept, and I was like, hey. And that's really important to me, and I don't know why. Maybe it goes back to my sort of lack of self-esteem and lack of self-confidence, that I've needed that reassurance.
But it's finding that self-worth, isn't it? Wherever that comes from, it's, you know, as you've just described it, how you want other people who are close to you to look at you and be like, you know, my mum was the proudest thing. It's just how you find your self-worth, which is just so important. Yeah.
So that's what success looks like to me. Getting to a place where all of that angst and all of that toxic situation that I've handled for years, much of which I've written about in my blogs on my website, coincidentally, little plug there. That's what's important to me. And so
lovely.
When at Christmas I sort of reevaluated where I was going, I thought, right, strip it all right back and recognise what you're good at and what you can do and what fulfills you, and that's how I came to where I am now. So I feel very aligned, and I hope that my passion then creates the success that I'm looking for.
Oh, I think that was such a lovely answer, and the fact that we can hopefully be part of that journey is just well, look, that is such a really nice answer to end on that conversation. I think I can see why us as two businesses kind of really fit together, because I think your answer there would actually be quite similar to what my mum's answer would potentially be. So I'm really seeing, not that I didn't know it already, but I can really see, they always say people buy off people, and I can see how we attracted each other as tribes, definitely. Yes. So the last bit is just a fun little quick fire round. So you can either have either or, you have to pick one of them out of the two. I've made them a little bit, I mean, there's maybe one question that could be to do with business, some digital things, some different things. So I'm just going to fire them off and just see where you are, and then we'll discuss after, because I might be shocked at some of your answers, or I might not have been expecting some of those. But are you ready?
I'm ready. Go for it.
Yeah. Right. Laptop or phone?
Laptop.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
LinkedIn or Facebook?
LinkedIn.
Cake or biscuits?
Cake.
Twitter or Instagram?
Oh, Insta.
Lippy or mascara?
Lippy.
Music or films?
Depends on my mood.
Now.
Film.
High tech or low tech?
Low.
Gin or wine?
Both.
You can only have one, gin or wine?
Oh, you mean wine?
Wine. Winter or summer?
That's changed as well over the years. I used to be such a sun worshipper. Yes, summer.
Yeah. I always think people that say that they like winter more than summer. When we've had that really nice weather in the last few months, I'm like, how can you not love this?
Love this, I know. Very true.
But that concludes the quick fire round. So what was I shocked? Because they're so quick, I can only remember the last couple of them. Anyway, I feel like I can't remember the ones at the beginning. Oh, that was it. So why LinkedIn over Facebook? I know that one seemed quite difficult.
It's an interesting one, that, because I was always much more confident on Facebook, and started with Facebook, and I've grown up with Facebook. Facebook feels very familiar. Mm-hmm. But in actual fact, I get much better engagement from LinkedIn. So that kind of gives you that feel-good factor. Yeah. And I've had lots of trending posts recently, and that's a bit like, oh, get me.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I do quite like LinkedIn.
I think Facebook, a lot of people built the businesses off it about, maybe 5+ years, and they've built us. But then when they change the algorithms, and it feels like you don't get much engagement or reach anymore, you feel like it's sucked the fun out of Facebook. Yeah. Whereas obviously LinkedIn is so still, if you're actually putting valuable things on, it can be so easy to generate business from with not that much effort, really.
And I think LinkedIn's changed a lot during lockdown.
Yeah.
I think there are some people that don't like the changes, but I think it has become, dare I say it, a little bit more chatty and a little bit more Facebook. Mm-hmm. And people were putting on there, well, what's everybody doing this weekend type posts on LinkedIn, which was not how LinkedIn was perceived traditionally. And I think Facebook, my kids would say Facebook's for the oldies, that might be right.
I mean, what was it somebody put the other day? My brother was saying it was his birthday last week. My parents were sharing stuff on Facebook, and they were like, have you not seen? And he went, guys, I don't go on Facebook anymore. It's like, it's not a thing. It's for all you oldies all the time. So, I mean, I'm not sure how my parents felt about that, but I think it is different platforms cater towards different needs. It's like, I feel too old for TikTok.
No.
Oh, I do. I go on and I'm like, God, they all look like they're about 15, 16. And bear in mind, I'm only 26, but it's just like, I just think that TikTok to me, I I'm not on board with quite yet, but I'll be keeping an eye on it to see if it could potentially be something for us or even some clients. So, but
I was talking to somebody this morning actually who said her 8-year-old daughter is obsessed with TikTok.
Oh yeah,
she's 8.
I know. Well, they know how to work, don't they? They're like, I think I'm quite tech savvy, but then looking at youngsters who just know how to unlock an iPhone or without even like, it's just the world just changing in front of your eyes. It's fascinating. So where can people find you? Is it better? So obviously connect with you on LinkedIn. Your web address is, you can give it. Obviously I know it, but
it's www.truecolorswithsarahheron.com. And that's the same for all of my handles, actually. And it's Sarah with an H, and it's Heron, Heron.
Yeah, you're the same handles over everything, aren't you? Yeah. Which is, that's always great when you can get them all. I loved when the Digital Gene ones were all available, because there's nothing worse if you've got to be, I don't know, on Twitter, you've got to be the _Digital Gene just to be a bit different. But no, different. But thank you so much for being my guinea pig.
You're welcome.
Chat. I'm just calling them client chats at the minute. I feel like it's gonna evolve into I need some kind of quirky branded name, but thank you so much.
I'm sure you'll come up with a quirky branded name, Declan, but thank you.
Thank
you. It's been a pleasure.